Hello, this is Chris Duncan at Find Your Focus Photographic Education, and today we're going to be talking about flow and opacity with your brush tool in Adobe Photoshop. So real quickly, I've just got a blank canvas here. I have my brush tool. I hit B to get the brush tool, and I'm going to keep it about medium softness and make it a little bigger here. So if you see at the top, my opacity is at 100%. That is how much of the color or the effect, if you're on a mask, will come through. The flow is how fast it comes through. So now I'm at 100% opacity and 100% flow. So if I draw a line, I'm going to get this red at 100%, even if I do a little bit or a lot. Okay? So now let's set the opacity to 50%, and the flow is still 100. So what it's going to tell me is it's going to go to 50% opacity immediately. So when I paint that, so I got 50% of that color. Now if I go over it again, it's going to do another 50%. And you can see now the middle there is at my 100% as it keeps. So when it builds up, it always builds up at that opacity if the flow is set at 100%. So now let's switch those and go opacity 100%. And let's take our flow to 50%. Now I'll get 100% opacity, but it's going to flow at 50%. So it won't get to 100% immediately. So this gives me the option to build up with more accuracy. So now let's take our flow down to, this is where I like to do it, around 20%, and my opacity to like 30 or 40%. And so what this is telling me is each time I flow, I'm not going to get more than 40%. I can build up 40% on top of 40%, but it gives me, as I keep my mouse down, and I can build up an effect more gradual and more believable doing it this way because it's flowing at 20% going up to that 40% opacity. So as I keep going over it, it's going to build up to 40%. So it gives me a lot more control with my brush. So if you're working on an effect, let's say you have a layer mask and you want to brush in an effect, doing this option gives you so much more flexibility to draw in that effect. For instance, let's just duplicate this layer, and we can put a layer mask on it. So I can do the exact same thing, flow at 20, opacity at 40, to slowly, am I on a black brush? Yes. Of course, I need a solid layer underneath it, don't I? That would probably be good. So you can see what I'm doing. So now I can take that effect out much more gradual and doing that thing. So my happy spot, especially if I'm trying to sharpen eyes or something like that, is set my flow between 10 and 20% and my opacity maybe at 30, and I can slowly start bringing in that effect. Notice I'm doing it here. And as I keep going over it, it keeps building up. So I can really fade that effect nice and effectively, as opposed to keeping flow at 100% and opacity at a low percentage. Then I'm going to come through it, and it's really hard to make that a nice, even transition. So anyway, I hope this helps you with those tools on your brush tool, the flow and the opacity. Once again, this is Chris Duncan at Find Your Focus Photographic Education. Thanks again for watching, and happy creating.